Hi, welcome to Sweet Dreams Wellness Travel. I am Barbara Tuckett, your host and the owner of Sweet Dreams Travel. I am a wellness travel specialist. I believe that our mind, body, and spirit all play into our well-being, and I create travel experiences which improve your wellness so that you return from your vacation with more health, more happiness, and more connection, both with those you've traveled with and also with your destination. In these episodes, I explore travel and wellness experiences, giving you ideas and recommendations, and also interviewing people who have firsthand experience of the places where you may want to go next. Welcome, let's get started. Hi, I'm really excited today because I have a great guest. This is my sister, Michelle Bruderer. Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
So today we are going to talk about the resort, the all-inclusive resort that Michelle and her family just returned from. They went to the Occidental Xcaret in the Riviera Maya, Cancun area. So Michelle, really this is just going to be kind of a review about the resort and kind of all the things that you thought, what you loved, what maybe wasn't so great, or your thoughts on the resort. So first of all, tell us like who you took with you and kind of the process of getting the trip going.
So we took our whole family. So my husband and I have been down to Cancun twice and just the two of us. And so this time we wanted to take the whole family. So we have 5 kids. My oldest is 18, all the way down to my youngest is 9. So I have it's 18, 17, 14, 12, and 9 is what we took with us this time. And we really wanted to take this vacation because my 3 youngest, 9, 12, and 14-year-old kids are in Spanish dual immersion. And we wanted to give them like an experience that was more authentic. Obviously, going to a resort is not the most authentic choice for a lot of things, but at least for the language, they did speak a lot of Spanish, and that was great. But that was kind of the why. We wanted to show our kids what Mexico was like, but we also wanted our kids to have a chance to use their language.
So, and in the planning process, we debated, and I know you like kind of agonized over the decision for quite a while of, do we go back to one of the resorts that we've gone to before, or do we go to this other one? And anyway, so tell us about that decision.
So yeah, we just loved every time we've been in Mexico. And so it's really hard if we should choose to do something we had already done and we already knew, or to try something new. We chose to try a new resort that we had never done before. And the reason that we chose Occidental Xcaret was one thing, just because isn't it fun to try something new every time you go? And then also specifically about that resort, the things that we liked is that it was just connected to that Xcaret Park, which is a cultural park. So that was a huge draw for us because we wanted a cultural experience as part of our vacation. We really wanted to feel like we learned more and kind of did that. Also, the Occidental Resort seemed really appealing because it was different than the other resorts we had stayed in because it was so much jungle. There's jungle everywhere at that resort. And they had animals there that are just wild, but they had lots. So deer, agouti, iguanas, monkeys. There's more too that I'm forgetting. But they also have ruins, like real Mayan ruins that exist on the property. So we really felt like if we did that, we'd really be getting what we were searching for, which was a real cultural experience, way fun to have the animals and the ruins and the jungle, plus the cultural park right next door.
So, and as far as, I guess, let's just get this out of the way. We knew going into it that I'm showing a picture, kind of an aerial shot of the resort. And you knew going into it that one drawback would be that there's not a huge, big, long beach there. And so that, I think that was kind of a dilemma. Tell me about the beach and kind of what your thoughts were. Do you wish you had had the great big long beach, or were you happy to have like that smaller kind of cove inlet kind of area?
So what you're looking at, that really is it. That little inlet cove, that's your beach at Occidental. To the left of this picture, it's just right on the very left side. There is an adult only pool that's it's kind of a natural pool that goes in. That's the fun little pool. But that's the extent of what you have access to as far as your natural beach, because all of the rest of that is really rocky. You can't get down to it. And yeah, Barbara, like you said, like that was a huge debate for me, is if I was going to feel like we had enough shoreline. So in the end, it worked out perfectly because, well, this year, specifically in 2022, they've been having some seaweed issues and we had nothing because it was that cove. So it was so beautiful down there. The water is warm. I mean, we went in July, but the water was really warm. There's still a ton of like fish and like sea life that's down there, crabs and all kinds of stuff that my kids were finding. And so it ended up being perfect because it was clean, it was beautiful. There was enough beach chairs and space to spread out because they have, I really don't think the picture does it justice as far as how much trees you really have. We always were able to find even chairs with palm tree shade over the top of them. And so for this year and the circumstances and the experience we had, we were actually really thrilled. It was great to have this like clean, beautiful area to swim and play in. So
Yeah.
we were happy with it.
Yeah. So, and that's great. That's great. It may not be like if you went another time, it may not be, what you were going for, but this time it kind of ticked all the boxes. Okay.
Yep.
So let's talk about a little bit of the resort. How were your rooms? You had 2 rooms. Were they close to each other? Were they far away? I know sometimes, so I guess just FYI to anybody who might not know this, most of the time when you go to Mexico or outside the country, you can request rooms together, but you don't always get them. It just depends on what the hotel has available when you check in. And so, how did your rooms work out and what were the rooms like?
Our rooms were right next door to each other. That was perfect. And this is something I loved about how they did this at this resort. So anytime we go, you always get your bracelet when you sign in, right? That shows that you are a member at this resort for the time that you're there. But at Occidental, the bracelet has a chip in it and it unlocks your doors. And so that was so convenient because we had no room keys, no key cards, nothing. Like it was always on us. It had to be on us anyways, and it unlocked our doors. And they programmed them at the front desk so that anybody's bracelet would unlock either room.
Sweet.
Super convenient for traveling with a family. Like that was so great. And I loved not having to keep track of cards or anything else.
Right.
So
right. Then you needed to run back to the room. You didn't have
exactly.
to
Anybody could, anytime they needed to. So that was amazing. A tiny detail, but they really nailed it. So okay, but the rooms were great. They were really nice. Beds were comfortable. I liked the pillows. They were great. Our housekeeping was kind of like a little bit funny. There was always only 3 towels in the room instead of like the 4. We had to ask specifically for that, like daily. We had to remind them that we still had a lot.
Yeah.
But we had 4 people in one room and 3 people in another room. So like we needed like all of it, where I guess lots of people might not need that much.
Right.
But I mean, they were always super helpful and happy to do that. We sometimes had to remind them that we wanted them to restock the soda in the mini bar, that kind of thing. They were really good about doing it. We just sort of had to tell them, like, yeah, we want it restocked. We're going to drink that Pepsi tonight,
Yeah.
Anyway. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, but okay, that's good. And then, so like you mentioned, the resort is very jungly. And tell me about getting around. Is it pretty easy to get around? Do you walk? Do you take golf carts? What's the procedure, I guess, with that?
The resort feels huge. It has lots, because it's like so jungle. They have ecological paths, like trails through the jungle, and they have like bigger paths that are like paved. Definitely for the first like probably 3 days, we're still using a map to get around the resort. I mean, it's like you get tangled in and out, which is kind of fun. That kind of made it fun, but it's not like it's not just easy to just go, oh, I know that I go this way because it's all really windy. So they do have golf carts though that you can pick up and like help get you from one place to
Right.
another place. It's like
Right.
certain stops. We didn't ever use those, but yeah, they did. People used them all the time. So yeah, but kind of fun. It was the first resort we had been at that like the swimming pool area was pretty far from where the beach area was. And so like you can't see them from each other. If you're in one place, you can't see the other one, especially all the jungle is between you.
Yeah.
But we liked the beach area, like I said, and we loved the pools. So the pools were great too.
Good. Okay, so tell me about the restaurants. How did it work with reserving your a la carte specialty restaurants, or did you worry about that? And how was that?
They told us that the restaurants were all going to be on a like a kind of like that our reservation didn't include restaurant reservations. So it needed to be first come, first served. But when we checked in, the guy was so helpful and he said, oh, you have a big group though. You might want to go over and talk to concierge and see if they'll reserve you some. So we did. And the gal that was in charge of the dining stuff at concierge, she was awesome. She said, I'll give you 2 reservations. They have 5 specialty restaurants there. And she said, I'll give you 2. We made the 2. And then she said, oh, I'll do another one. So she gave us 3, which was so great. And then she just said, any of the other nights, you can walk up and put your name on a list and they'll tell you, like, it might be a wait to get a table or something, but they'll tell you if you can be served. So we were really happy about that. We were happy that we had 3 all reserved. The first night when we got in, we just ate at the buffet. We were hungry and ready to go. So we ate at the buffet. But after that, we had 5 more nights, 5 specialty restaurants. And so we had reservations at 3. And the other 2 nights that we didn't have reservations, we just went up and asked to get on the list and they got us in no problem. Almost no wait either. And we're a big group. And they handled that so well and were so accommodating. The food, so delicious. The restaurants, so good. So Italian, Asian, steakhouse, Mexican, and seafood. And we ate at all 5 of them. They were so delicious. The service was amazing at all of them. The buffet was yummy. Was really good. We did buffet for morning and lunch, breakfast and lunch. And compared to some of the other resorts that I've been to, they didn't have like as much of a variety. I mean, that sounds kind of picky saying that because I think about the buffet and they still had a lot of stuff. But I've been at another Barcelo resort where it just felt like endless. Like the buffet choices were so much.
Yeah.
But it was good. We always had stuff that we liked to eat. My kids were thrilled, so it was fine.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So for people, if you have been to other all-inclusives, the buffet may not be quite as large, but still good. Still plenty of choices. And are your kids picky eaters?
My kids do really, really well. Like they tried something at all of them. Not all of them ate seafood at the seafood place. But other than that, they actually tried something from the menu that was not like totally Americanized, right? So they did pretty good. They're not really all that big.
Okay.
So they did pretty good with that. I will say like the main buffet, it's a huge room. I love that. It's a huge, beautiful room area. So that's nice to go to. That it's spacious and that's lovely. So
That's great.
Yeah.
And were the restaurants inside or outside?
All of them were inside except the seafood restaurant. So they have the second buffet out at the beach, right? And in the nighttime, they convert that to the seafood restaurant.
Okay.
So it's in the same spot, but it has outdoor and covered seating, but it's not indoor, you know.
Right. So it's kind of nice to be in the air conditioning when you were eating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the seafood evening, especially being there in July, was definitely like our hottest meal because I mean, it was pleasant still, but it was not air conditioned.
That's great. Okay. So tell me about your excursions with the Occidental Xcaret being right there, right next to the parks. Tell us about which parks you went to and kind of how that process was.
So we went to the Xcaret Park, and that was so great. Again, like I said, that was one reason why we chose Occidental is because it was connected to that park. We knew we were going to go to that park. So glad we did it that way. That was excellent planning because we didn't have to mess with transportation. We didn't even do anything with the meals because we were close enough that we just, there's the little shortcut to get back over to kind of the, okay, it's not really a shortcut. It takes a long time still to kind of walk through, but there's a path that will take you from the beach side of the Xcaret Park to the beach buffet at Occidental Resort. So we just like used that and came over even for lunch. So we didn't even eat in the park in Xcaret. So that was awesome for us.
Yeah.
Saved money for us and we were still able to eat. So yeah, we just had so we did Xcaret Park, loved it. You I could definitely see spending 2 days to do that part, but doing it in one day, I read a couple of blogs about the park before I went. So that kind of helped me like have a handle on what I knew we wanted to hit. So that was great. Best advice about that park that I read was do things in this park that you're not going to be doing anywhere else in Mexico. Right. So they have a little tower you can go up in, but we didn't do that because I knew we would be doing zip lines. So I knew we'd be getting like aerial views. Anyway, that park was great. Within that park, we also chose to do additional experiences that we paid for. Some of us did snuba and some of us did swimming with dolphins. Both of those were amazing. So good. We were glad we did it. I would definitely not plan more than one like additional experience if you're already doing Xcaret Park because there's so much in the park you want to do.
Yeah.
And the only other thing that we chose to do for like an excursion was Xplor. And that was amazing. Xplor is amazing. I recommend it to everybody. It's a must. It's just mind blowing and so cool how they set that park up. So that was a big.
Yeah. And Explore is another park. It's really close to the resort we were staying, and it's an all-day kind of experience as well. So anyway, super fun. How about maybe some final thoughts? Were there things like everything you pretty much said was positive and good? Was there anything that wasn't as positive or that was a little bit less than what you were hoping for? Or did everything pretty much meet or exceed your expectations? What do you think?
The only like little frustrations or confusions that we had was with in staying at Occidental. And if you're planning on going to parks, like even the Xcaret Park or the Explorer Park or any of their other parks that are nearby there, I would call the hotel and probably the Xcaret group as you're making your reservation. Because if you just try to do it online, it's different. Different things kind of apply because you're so close to those parks. And so anyway, we figured that all out and Barbara helped us with some of it. And then we kind of figured some of it out in kind of a long roundabout way that I wish I would have just called the resort. It would have helped me clear up some confusion with as far as your transportation and how you're going to get your best ticket price. I got a much better ticket price talking to the guy from like Xcaret Parks rather than doing it online. Anyway, so that took us a minute. And then the other thing is, I know that Barbara always tells all of her clients this, but it's always something that takes me by surprise when I experience it. Our lady that was our concierge delegate, she was lovely. And but she kept trying to tell us like, oh, you earned your free day, your free breakfast over in this exclusive part of the park. And you get to have breakfast over there and you get to go to their pools and and she showed us where it was on the map and it's still within the Occidental Resort. And she was just sneaky enough that it didn't register to me that what she was talking about was like a timeshare kind of presentation. Yeah. She never said anything about that. She just said, let's go explore. You get to have breakfast over here. You get it for free. So just beware of those. And luckily I figured it out. I was able to talk to Barbara, and I just told her, you know what, I have a big group. Everybody has a lot of things they want to do. We're not going to take time to go over and explore this. We love this resort. We're going to stay here. She was lovely. She said, oh, that's fine. Thank
Yeah.
you for telling me your reasons why you don't want to go. I said, yep, thank you. So yeah.
The timeshare people are all over, and they try as many different ways as they can to get you to hear their presentations, and understandable, that's their job. But you know,
Right.
if you're not interested in it, if you are, great, but if you're not interested in it, then just know that they're going to try and sneak it in however they can. So, to wrap it up, thank you so much, Michelle, for talking to me and being able to share so much about the resort. It's great. I love the highlights that you mentioned, that you were able to avoid the seaweed that is really bad this year in that area, and that the resorts all around there had a lot of seaweed. And so I love that tip that you were able to avoid that, being in that little natural cove area with your beach. So that was a great tip. And then I love just all of the stuff you shared about the restaurants and the buffet and the rooms, and it was awesome. Thank you so, so much.
Yeah, thanks. It's fun to talk about it. It's an amazing vacation. I would go back in a second.
If you had to redo the whole thing, are you glad that you stuck with the Occidental Xcaret? You were glad that you didn't go back and repeat one of the other properties where you had already been?
Absolutely. I'm so glad we tried something new. And Barbara helped me make sure that it was at least going to be on the same level as what I had already experienced. So I just didn't want to go down there and like have something way less than what I had already experienced.
Right.
And it was good.
Well, and especially taking kids, you want to make sure that
Yes.
it's like in the right ballpark for what you're expecting. So
Right.
yeah,
Yep.
that's great. Okay, well, thanks so much, Michelle, for talking to me. We will talk to you later.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks for joining me today. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like, share, subscribe, or leave a review. If you'd like to contact me about a vacation, the best way is to visit my website, sweetdreamstravel.net. To connect on social media, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, or LinkedIn. See you next time.